first intuition revision sessions. Hope you're in the right place. This is for advanced diploma Synoptic and Spreadsheets, so your ADSY and SPSH exams. I know you have enough mnemonics and acronyms to remember, so there's just a couple more to remember. So what we're going to do tonight is, as always, we are going to cover both different types of exams. Okay, they are now two separate exams. Okay, this is what, 1st September 2021 if you're listening to this back. So it's two separate exams from today. So your first part will be covering ADSY, which is your typical ethics, financial accounting from advanced bookkeeping and final accounts preparation exams, and also your management accounting costing exam. So first one, 2.5 hours. Okay, you'll be covering a bit of ethics to start with and mixing around. This task focuses on management accounting in particular. Okay, so today we are focusing on management accounting. So there are 6 tasks in total that you'll have to cover for the ADSY part. It's always worth mentioning these tasks were written by us over at First Intuition, or FI. In the FI family, okay, we are not part of AAT. They are not, they're supposed to be as close as we can get them to expect from an AAT. They're really focusing on the learning. They're not an exact replica of what you'll see in the exams, but absolutely we try and mimic if we can. How many of them have written elements? Someone asks. So there's typically now 2 tasks. Okay, it's typically 2 tasks with written elements. Always task 4. So task 4 will be a mixture of ethics written and financial accounting / management accounting written. So for example, they can ask you to explain the differences between the 2. But definitely you will be getting an ethics written part in that task 4. And then around that, you could have a task like this, task 5 or task 3, that could have another written element to it. It could be something like an email or a memo, similar to what you'd normally have for task 4. But what I say is, it's not going to be the whole of task 3 or the whole task 5 typically taken up by written parts. Okay, they want to test your accounting as a whole knowledge in terms of calculations. Okay, so there will be written tasks. You always need to do that. FIFO, okay, yeah, FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average cost, or AVCO, however you like to call it. But yes, good, right. Super duper, right. So we are going to dive into this task because it takes a little while actually. So the first one we're looking at is Gemini Limited. So Gemini Limited, we have our good old profit centers and our cost centers. Okay, so I'm seeing those. I'm seeing one support cost center, and looking at that. So yeah, thank you for answering that. Human marked, as we say in Norfolk, although I used to be from Norfolk. That's where I was born. Not living there now. So profit centers, cost centers. Okay, we need to know what the difference is. Okay, cost centers really are looking after costs. That's it. That's all I think about. Now, cost centers, you've got to think about the non-profit making parts of the business. So you'll have a sales department that is looking to make a profit of some sort. You'll have other departments like us, maybe in finance, HR, or in IT, or in all these other kind of centralized functions that you might have. Okay, and what they have is they don't necessarily make any money. They're not out there to make money, but they are there to support other functions. So what we do is we then absorb, as it looks like, okay, the costs into other areas of the business, and we need to decide how to do that. Okay, so that's the question we're looking at tonight. Hopefully we got the tasks again from that Google Drive that we have. So looking at its tasks, I can see profit center, plural, and cost center, singular. Okay, so stores are a cost center here. So what it's asking to do, use the following table to allocate or apportion the overheads, okay, on the most appropriate basis, meaning they are not telling you what to do, but you need to have a think about it and decide what you think is the most appropriate basis. So what we're going to do with this task, okay, let's first look at it. So we've got depreciation charge for machinery, right? Well, what do we think is the most appropriate basis to be looking at that? Okay, depreciation charge for machinery, where do we think, or what do we think we should use in order to absorb or allocate those costs? Okay. So I mentioned straight line or carrying amount. Okay. Caroline, yes, you're on the right track. Okay, so depreciation charge for machinery, right? So we've got the cost. Okay, we've got the cost. It means we don't have to do any depreciation calculations. Remember, this is a management accounting part of the syllabus. Okay, which means we're not doing that. We're looking solely at how we allocate those costs. So depreciation charge for machinery gives us 100,000. Okay, so what I'd be looking at is saying, okay, well, we've got carrying value of machinery, number of machine hours, and floor space. Well, I think, well, depreciation, not really looking at floor space, we're looking at depreciation of machinery. So we are choosing between, as we've seen, we're probably choosing between these two, okay, because they are focused on machines. Now, a more appropriate basis, well, yes, the number of hours a machine is on is likely to affect the depreciation, okay, how quickly something winds down. But what we're really looking at is the carrying value, okay, because when we're carrying value, we might decide how much of that depreciation was allocated, okay, so how much of that was allocated. So we've also got a note just to know at the bottom, 60% for stores goes to cutting, and the remainder goes to stitching in terms of that apportioning, okay, so 40% goes there. Okay, that's for later. Okay, that's for later. So absolutely, you can see some of 1 point. Carrying value is net book value. Yes, absolutely. They are the same thing. Okay, they are the same thing, just different terms. Okay, net book value of assets, NBV. So what I'm doing is then I'm taking any department with carrying value, or any department with machinery, should I say? Okay, so any department with machinery should have an allocation of depreciation. Okay, it'd be unfair to allocate that to stores who don't have any machinery. Okay, relatively unfair. So what we're going to do is go, okay, well, I'm going to go 650, and now you just need the relative amount. So 650 plus 350 is now 1 million. Okay, 1 million. 1 million, I could have written that shorter. Okay, so all I need to do is say, well, I need to allocate the portion of that and times it by the 100,000. Okay, so 65, 35, basically 100. I know that's 65%. Okay, so that's 65%, 35%. Right, if you want to work this out in a calculator, 650,000 divided by 1 million. Right, we know we need to save time in the exam. So if we can do this, well, if I took off 3 zeros off the end there, okay, 650 divided by 1,000 stops me typing in more zeros. Okay, so all I do is go 650, 350. Well, if we looked at that, okay, we can see, and you times that by 100,000, it's the equivalent of the same thing, right? It's 650, 350 out of 1 million, which is 65%, which gives us 65,000 and 35,000. Okay, 65,000 and 35,000. So I'm going to go down here and say 65. I'm going to write in K because I'm writing it for short, and 35K. 100K. And our basis, okay, was on the carrying amount of machinery. Okay, please try and write in full in your exam. I'm just doing it for time saving. Okay, so good. Glad to see quite a few of us looking exactly nice and eagle-eyed on that. So let me know if anyone's not happy with that. Okay, let me know if anyone's not happy. Hopefully all very happy, right? Smiling away. All right, everyone is happy. Good. Okay, now we have our second cost, right? Variable machine running costs. So let's have a little change up color. Variable machine running costs, 50,000. Well, variable meaning it changes based on a specific factor. Okay, so like variable costs for inventory, right? The more inventory we buy, the more is the cost to allocate. Well, machine running costs are going to be driven by, oh, there you go, machine hours, Machina, right? Machina, it's a good film actually, whatever that was called, Machina. Machine hours, okay? The number of machine hours it's on is going to drive that machine cost, okay? So what we need to do, well, we've got 4, 1, right? So we can just do effectively 4/5, right? 4/5 and 1/5, exactly the same as earlier, right? If we had that. Now, same again, de and de, okay? No cost to stores. There's nothing allocated there. There's no machines. So we don't have any carrying value machines. We don't have any machines turned on. So 4/5 and 1/5 times our value here. Okay, so 4/5, 1/5. Well, if we know 1/5 is basically 20%. Okay, 1 divided by 5 is 0.2 or 20%. Times by this for 50,000 here. Okay, so absolutely on point. So that gives us 40, well, let's write it straight in. Why am I writing it up there? Okay, so it gives us 40,000 and 10,000. Okay, machine hours. Okay, so that was 4/5 times by our 50,000 or 1/5 times it. Okay. Da-da. And oh no, that's not what I meant. Undo that. 50,000. All right. Next up is rent and rates. Oh, look at that. Absolute way ahead of me. Okay, absolutely. Right, rent and rates. Right, rent and rates, light, heat, and power. Okay, they're all going to be driven, right? Rent and rates. Rates are effectively business rates that you pay for having a building somewhere. You normally pay into the council. Okay, charity shops normally have discounted or 0 rates. So rent, light, heat, power, premises. Okay, all driven by floor space. Okay, all driven by floor space. Okay, so don't know why I totaled up that million earlier. We already knew that, right? So we've got 140, 100, 160. Okay, so this means we're going to do, for example, 140 divided by 400. Okay, and then times that by either 40,000 or 20,000. Okay, oh no, I've already used that color. So both of them figures we're going to go in there. Okay, so rent and rates, light, heat, and power are going to be driven by floor space. So 140 over 400 times it, I've lost it, or 100 over 400, which is 25%, or 160 over 400. Okay. So same applies. So again, e.g., I always like to give an example: 140 over 4,000, 140 over 400. Okay, and then times that by my 40k. Right, that's my example. That's 40k that we've got there for rent and rates. So floor space. And again, you would write floor space in, okay? Not like me. I write my little same again quotes. So 140 over 400 gives us, well, that gives us what? 35%, okay? Gives us 14k there. Gives us 10k here, okay? Because 25%. And then it gives us the remainder of 16k. Oh, don't do stuff in your head. 16k. Okay. And that gives me a total of 40. Okay, total of 40. Then light, heat, and power, exactly the same. Okay, light, heat, and power, but we're only doing it for 20k. Okay, so if I know that I'm doing that times 20k, well, it's literally half of these figures. Okay, 20k, 40k. So 20k, 40k gives me that. Okay, because it's half of the figures above. Right. Same again. It was almost like someone planned it. Oh, it's almost like a marker or an examiner wanted an easy job, hey? Oh, Caroline, you're reading into the minds. Okay, and then indirect costs. Right, what do I do with indirect costs? Indirect labor, sorry, as a cost. What am I doing with indirect labor? Allocate, allocate. Yep. Allocate, right? Allocate. right? All that means is copy and paste, okay? Copy and paste. So I'm going to go down to my figures. What was that? Just double checking, 10, 12, 13. And it means 10, 12, and 13, which gives me a total of 35k, right? A total of 35k. Okay, then we just do a little tally up, right? Gives us 245k. Right, we get all our totals in here. Okay, we've got 37k. We've got 72k, and then we've also got 136k. All right. So just a little total up. All right. I'm putting a nice little line here so you can see that. Total them all up. Now what do we do? Right. Now the green may give it away a little bit. Right. The green may give it away. What am I doing now? Okay, reapportion the totals to the other centers. Oh, thank you, Becky. Right. I like my specificity, right? Absolutely. Well, allocate the stores, okay, to the others, okay, because they're profit centers, right? So we've been given this, right? Total overheads to for the cost centers are then reapportioned to the two profit centers, okay, on the basis of 60% and the remainder, okay, 40%. So 60% to cutting, 40% to stitching, okay? So what I do is go, I'm taking 60% times 37k or 40%, okay? Okay, reapportioning it. It should, right? There should be a 37k here, either in brackets or a minus, unless the examiner tells you otherwise, okay? Brackets or minus is good. Please don't use my k's either, just because my writing's a little bit bigger. So 22.2k, okay, and 14.8k, right? Those are not lovely round numbers. They could be worse, okay? Never freak out about seeing a wacky number in the exam, right? So then what we do is tally them up again, right? We know we're going to have 0 there. We should have 245k here, and then we just need to add that on top. So it's 158.2k and 86.8k. Okay, 86. That's a dot in there. 86.8k. Right, and that is the end. Not a lot of numbers to put in. Okay, not crazy complex calculations. What is the directness to apportion 30k? Love a bit of MMAC, right? What is directness to apportion 37k? No worries. So when you see up here, allocate or apportion, you can see right here, it actually tells you reapportion stores. So in here, remember it's a cost center. So what we do is we take the costs from a cost center and reallocate them because those cost centers are supporting the cutting and stitching department. So like a finance team supports the rest of the business with what they do, we then have to say, these overhead costs, we need to consider them in maybe in our pricing and how profitable each of the other departments are. So what we do is we reapportion the costs of those central functions, those cost centers, to the profit centers in a way that's appropriate. Okay, so they've just told us 60-40. It might be based on how much revenue they make, how many units they sell, could be lots of different things. But in this exam, they've told you. Caroline loves a bit of MMAC. Good. It's always good to love a bit of something like this. All right. Gemini. Okay. So all about Gemini. Next part, we're manufacturing 10,000 units. Okay. Budgeted to manufacture 10,000 units. The other two. It's all right. It's all right. You can, maybe hate. It's quite strong. So we were budgeted for 10,000 units, right? That's our fixed budget. Okay. We've got actual of 12,000, okay? Lovely, 12,000. Complete the shaded boxes load to flex, right? Love a bit of flex in the budget, okay? If you nail it, it's nice and simple, okay? favorable, adverse. So two methods you can do, right? There's two methods you can use for flexing budget. Okay, launch it into the chat. What's the method you like to use? There's two methods. Well, there's two methods that, well, there's one method that I use, but there's two main methods. Okay, if it works for you, it works. Love this section, Becky. Oh, good. Love it. 70 over 100 times 12,000. So, oh, 700 over. Yeah. 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 Lots of you going for the work out the cost per unit and then work it that way. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to sneeze. I'm not. Okay, might come back. Okay, most of you in the same boat. Yeah, so most of you are working out, okay, by taking this figure and dividing it by that to work out the per unit cost, okay? And then working that through by timesing it by 12,000. Okay, the way I like, bless me in advance, thank you, never had that. The way I like is by just going, well, 12,000, okay, so 12,000 over 10,000, the same thing. And then timing that by whatever the budget was. Okay, so it has the same effect. If you don't like it, ignore it, right? You go with your way. Your way works. My way works. Okay, they're both as good as each other, right? They're even better if you like one way over another and it works for you. Okay, so stick with it if you like it. So 12,000 actual over budget times by whatever the budget figure was. Okay, so all it's doing is uplifting it. Okay, so in this case, let's say I had the 700,000, okay, and 850,000. I just ignore these figures. Okay, I just have to be careful I don't take the actual. Okay, so 10,000 units to 700,000. Okay, and then thank you, absolutely, times that by the 700,000. Okay, I always love to give an EG, right? Just gives you a little example. A wacky E gives me 840,000 there. Okay, 840,000. And then, yep. Ignore the 12K. Okay, I'll ignore the 12K. So yeah, absolutely 12 over 10 times 700, or you can do it your way. 700,000 divided by the 10,000 units. Okay, and then times it by that. Either way is fine. And then we just carry on and do that. Right. So our variance, right? Our variance is 10,000. Okay, our variance is 10,000. We don't need to put if it's a minus or a plus. What we do is put if it's favorable or adverse. And before I even ask the question, we're coming straight in with a, what is it? Favorable, adverse, absolutely. And lovely fat F, okay? Lovely big F. So good, right? 850, we made £10,000 more than we expected based on our budgeted figures. Okay, now just a quick question before I rinse in the rest of the figures. What could that be? What could the reason for that be? Okay, what could the reason for that be? That we made higher sales revenue. What could the reason be? Think of revenue. What drives revenue, right? That would drive our costs. Some of what you're talking about. Yes, one of the main ones. Okay. Right. Well, I got my hair cut today at a barber's, and I gave them a tip. Right. Very random one, but technically higher overall. So Caroline, absolutely higher selling price. Sales revenue. Okay, revenue that we make for selling something. That's a nice haircut. Absolutely. Yeah, we could talk about that for a long time, but yeah. So thanks for the nice haircut. Oh, good. Oh, you're all on form tonight. I am fishing for compliments. Oh yeah, I bought a new shirt today as well. Okay, but no, just kidding. So yes, absolutely. I love the redness. Exactly, love the redness. I can see it in my cheeks as well, probably. So flex budget, right? Favorable, higher selling price. Okay, and then we work it through. Do the same calculation on each of these. Okay, on all of them, or some of them, or all of them. Some of them, not all of them. So not all of them. Yeah, good, right? Overheads are entirely fixed, right? Fixed cost, flat line. Okay, remember our little graphs, fixed costs, they should stay, okay, don't always, right? As we can see, they should stay. So I'm getting myself a nice little, well, I don't know why I'm writing full. I'll get myself a nice little mark for writing that, right? So then I've got 2K there, which I'm going for a big A, right? Unfortunately, it's the other way around to our good old American, or actually, no, it's now the new GCSE system. Oh, no, it's not. It's the old GCSE system. Forget. A's, right? Adverse, meaning it's not good. We spent £2,000 more. We were told they were fixed, right? So not on that overheads, but on everything else. So we do the same calculation and work that through. So I can tell this from anyway, because 12 over 10 is 1.2, right? It's 1.2, meaning it's 20% higher. So this is going to be also 240K, which gives us a 3K difference there and a 4K difference there, right? 3K meaning I spent more, okay? So I don't like that. And 4K under meaning I spent less. So then, yeah, good, right? Okay, costs, we always want them to be lower than our, we always want our actual to be lower, whereas we want our revenue to be higher for the actuals, okay? So Becky, okay, we can all, for the examiner can work out, actually you only have to put an F or an A in the exam. So if that helps, okay, I know your overheads spelling was way off though. So I don't know where that was, but typing so quickly, just excited to get your answer in. So we've got basically we've got a plus 10K here, a plus 4K here, which gives us plus 14K. And then we've got a minus 3 and a minus 2, which gives us minus 5K. So what we need to do is tally them off, okay? So we'll have 90, okay, we'll have a 90,000 here. Just be careful not to just times that by, well, necessarily 1.2. Work this through. 10 minus 3 plus 4 minus 2 gives us 9K. Okay, gives us 9K there. And that gives us a favorable, okay, gives us a lovely favorable, because we can see just by that, 10K is definitely more than that and that. Okay, so New is going to get a favorable outcome. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Good. And is your second question over? Just hold there for a second, people, in case anyone's got any questions. So why the variance of 9K? Okay, so you take it based on the variances only. So you've got 10K favorable. So basically think about it as plus 10, minus 3, plus 4, minus 2. Okay, so that would give us equals 7, equals 11, equals 9. Okay, that's where you lost it. So we've got that variance of 9K. And Caroline, yes, absolutely. What very typical thing to do is just look at these figures here. Okay, typically look at these figures. So 48, 7, 20, 50. And then for the 90K is just these figures here. So 840 minus 480. Okay, so 840 minus 480. Okay, gives us 300 and it's 60. Minus 240 minus 30. Okay, so do it that way, right? That's the way you do it. Okay, so problem is here, if you times this figure by 1.2, you're then timesing this figure by 1.2, which is incorrect. Okay, because remember overheads aren't moving. So that's why we don't use that end profit figure. We have to just use the calculations that we've got, right? That's a little note to yourself. Use the figures you put in. Ooh, yeah. Very sneaky, right? Okay, trust yourself. Don't trust the examiner. Okay, maybe not that. That's not my wise words. Okay. If there is no difference, it's favorable. In your exam, they won't have a no difference because your only options are F and A. If it's no difference, it's negligible. It's nothing. It's nada. it's just NA. So they will have to, if they give you the option of saying, showing whether they're favorable or adverse, the examiner is going to have to give you a favorable or adverse, because think about it like a pick list. They just have to give you an F or an A, right? Give our good old data validation goes in, okay? Yeah, good question, Becky. It's a good question. All right. Cool. Right, let me just quick save on that, okay? Because you're going to get my scribbles via our lovely team who will send it out. All right, so Spreadsheet Life. Okay, we're on to Spreadsheet Life. So let me move these countries. These countries were picked quite a while ago. Okay, just a random generator. Okay, so we have a carrying on from last week. If everyone remembers, if you were here last week, we have inventive, right? What a name! Oh, what kind of genius came up with a name like inventive, right? Yeah, obviously it's me. So again, yeah, absolutely, Caroline. So Inventive's travel team are producing a budget for the cost for the team's travel. Okay. So couldn't think of a name, so there you go with that. No worries, Becky. Right, have a lovely evening. Have a lovely week as well. Also to you, Moni, as well. Have a lovely evening. And I don't mind if anyone else leaves, right? Okay, no one's. I'm never offended. Of course. Oh, that's really Caroline. So producing a budget for the costs of the team's travel event. Open the worksheet called flights costs. Okay, worksheet, right? Worksheet, very different thing. Okay. See ya. So flight costs 1, right, one flight cost. It's this one here. Then what we're doing is, let me go back to this, copy and paste as values the total flight cost into the relevant row in column C. I have no doubt that it's the jokes, right? And they never came back to the class. That's what happens. What I don't know about. So copy and paste as values the total flight cost into the relevant column in column C in the worksheet called task 1. Okay, it sounds like a lot, but all we're doing is copy and pasting some of these values. Okay, these are in order. Okay, exam is not normally that harsh, so they are in order, and copying them to here. Question: total flight cost, right? With taxes, with taxes, without taxes. What are we copying? Column E, column C, with or without? Didn't even check the order. There you go. You got to read. You got to remember the details. Accountants were all pedantic, right? Okay. Now, as I say, it would probably take you quite a long while if they had made you do that. Okay. So some going with, some going without. Okay. It says total cost. Okay. It says total flight cost. Now, it's very specifically worded. Okay. To cause a little, not confusion. Okay. But just to get you to think about it, right? Remember, whenever you pay for a flight cost, you pay for the tax as well. Okay. So you're paying for the tax. Copy and paste as values, right? So you're paying for the flight cost. It's not a VAT, so total cost in column C in the worksheet called task 1. So we're copying these costs, right, into here. Okay, and we've got different ones, paste values. Okay, we've got, oh come on, this is where it crashes, formulate and all that good stuff. Nice little crash. Okay, there you go. Hopefully you can't hear that buzzing of my sound. Okay, so that's what happens. A plus A3 plus that, right? That is what happens when we have essentially copy that. So that's why we're pasting as values, right? This one. Otherwise, all it does is try and copy this and this. And it copies the formula across. Okay, now you don't need to do that. It's just, I like it a bit like that. So copy that, task 1, use appropriate formulae to calculate total costs and insert the figures into column F. Okay. Oh, I didn't even talk to you about the spreadsheets exam. Okay. So before I do that, just quickly, you probably know this already. I've already talked about it, but remember, spreadsheets exam, 2 hours. Okay. 5 different tasks. that you have in your spreadsheet exam, total of 35 marks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but of course you just spread your time appropriately. So I'm saying that randomly after this point 1, but there's not that many marks for each one, but there's 14 marks, okay, in total, 14 marks. May have split it in 2, I'm not sure. But 5 tasks, 35 marks, 2 hours, all about spreadsheet skills, no accounting knowledge needed. Okay, if they give you something, they have to tell you what it is. I always give the example, gross profit, they're going to have to tell you it's revenue minus cost of sales, and the same with anything else. Can you go back and forth in both between questions? Can you explain? Oh, so what go from task 1, task 2, etc. Bradley, is that what you mean? Yeah, so it's likely it will just be on a PDF like this, and then you'll go to just go down, and it might be that it's all on one whole spreadsheet. So yeah, you'll be able to dip in and out of them. Yeah, so you'll be able to recheck them. Yeah, so you'll be uploading a spreadsheet at the end of it as well. So usual business. And well, whoever you sit it at are there to help you in the uploading process. All right, rightio. So appropriate formula to calculate total costs and insert these figures into column F. Okay, so column F here, right? Appropriate formula, right? Doesn't tell me what to do. So I can do whatever I want, right? I can do the sum function, most common probably, or I can do AutoSum, or I can just go that plus that plus that and give me that. Okay, I can just do that if I want. AutoSum, yeah. You can also do the AutoSum, good old handy little tool. You've got your formulas that you can do AutoSum as well. And if you give it a little ding and it goes, oh, picked up the wrong ones. No, I meant these ones. Okay. And then, yeah, you go drag it down. You can drag it down, as Caroline says, or I like a good double tap there. Okay. Just have a little check that it brings. So if you see this little bold bit at the bottom right, okay, if you just double click there, it will auto populate down to the last row. Okay, so you can do it either way. But yeah, we've got a sum. Okay, appropriate formula, whatever you like. You think sum is quick, it happens like that, right? Whatever you like. So we've got that sum, a sum function. Okay, so appropriate formula to calculate total costs and insert into column F. Loving the new spreadsheet layout. Good. Yeah, some of the tasks were hard. Okay, so some of the tasks were mixing, and it was easy to be clouded by, for example, trying to do a partnership accounts while also thinking about the spreadsheet skills. And if you didn't know how to do the partnerships, you kind of freaked out a little bit about the spreadsheets. Okay, and I've taught spreadsheets for a little while now, until you get the spill thing. Yeah. Yes, that is what I'm annoying. So until you're the point at which you go, oh, actually, there is loads of stuff. You know, back in the day, you could just say, well, back in the day, as of yesterday, you could have highlighted stuff in bold and underline, right? The same with any of these spreadsheet skills. You don't have to get everything right in order to get those marks. Okay, so you could copy and paste the wrong values, right? But if you turn the whole thing into into sterling, then you could get the mark for the sterling, but you wouldn't get it for the copying and pasting the values. Okay, so it's about the skill, not about you getting necessarily the whole thing being perfectly right. Yeah, having to know both accounting tasks and spreadsheet it's very different as well. And yes, absolutely different to do it on paper. Okay, so it's easy to be kind of a little bit flustered by those tasks, but no more. Okay, that is absolutely continuing to our knowledge. Well, it's continuing at least until 2020 until the 2022 syllabus kicks in. Okay, so we don't know what happens beyond then, but who knows? Okay, who knows? But they've moved this way. Okay, they've moved this way. So we are where we are, right? Your first step, okay, you can take the spreadsheet exams from today. Of course, you're not going to take it tonight, but you can take the spreadsheet exams from today. Then you've got your ADSY exams week of the 13th, or is it week of the 13th? And then the week of the 8th of November. Yeah, if I remember correctly. So anyway, spreadsheets. Okay, so column G, format the dates to show the name of the month. i.e. meaning that is, right? So if we look, format the dates, show the name of the month, right? These are all the dates. So if I show the name of the month, 10 January 2022, okay, I feel like we've got this. Just format the cells. You could change the date. You could go in the date thing up here, but format the cell, date, and all we want to do is click there. Okay, nothing crazy about it. So yes, we get all these hash and just double tap there and it opens up the cell for us. Okay, we could have dragged it, but it does the same thing. Little double tap there. So format it, right? Give us a little tick there. Ticks make us happy, right? Use the sum formula to calculate the total cost of all trips, right? Of all trips and input into row 13, column F. We're right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I won't be here before then, so I won't. But we are running a session next week. Don't worry. So total cost. Okay, so I'm doubling that, right? Which means I know it's going to go over here. And again, some of us like a good old AutoSum, and there's a weight. Oh, how do we do that? So if you tap the one column to just click, and then you press Control and click again, it does that. So you can see that the one's bold. Okay, so same if you press Control, it always highlights stuff. If you hold it down, it'll highlight anything you like when you click. Okay, you all happy with that? Yeah, it does make life a little bit easier. Then you can just keep going down. Anyway, yeah, so that was a skill I didn't know I was going to teach you. But yeah, there you go. So look, AutoSum picks up figures, goes there. Okay. No, it's fine. We're all good. So use the sum formula, calculate the total cost of all trips. Use an if formula to state whether the total cost is within budget or not within budget. Okay. Using the total budget available in row 14, column C. Okay, so row 14, column C, row 14, just because it's easy to show now. 24,000 there. Okay, we can see it anyway. And then we've been asked in row 14, column D. Okay, so row 14, column D. So we know here, I'm putting this in. Right, so chuck in the chat the if formula. Right, someone's probably already done it. Yeah, there you go. Right, don't look at it if you haven't written already. Okay. No, it's fine. Absolutely fine. Just don't want anyone else to look at it while they're typing. So you can just hide that like that so you can't see above chat. I'd use the if. Yep, formula function. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's in there. So yes, you could insert function. You could go, or even recently used as well. Good old if, right? Oh, there you go. Well, so can I just, I'm wondering if I can just copy and paste yours in there, make it easier. Look. Okay, so what we're trying to say is if this is below that, meaning if it's within budget, okay, within our budget, then show, okay, value if true, meaning if it's lower within budget. So if it's true, meaning it is lower, then show within budget. If it's not, show not within budget. Do that, okay. A quick sense check is always a good thing, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you just have to think about it. If it's true, okay, it's not within budget, right? So total budget, input here. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if our value, so if I just scroll down so if it moves it. So if the total cost of all our trips is less than, i.e. within the budget we've set, so within the 24,000 budget we've set, okay, I'll say it's within budget, okay, and you have to put speech marks, okay. For any words that you use in a formula, you have to put speech marks because Excel thinks it's a number. So you go speech marks if it's within budget, i.e. it's true. Sound like Joey now doing this all the time, you know, from Friends. Within budget, and if it's not within budget, then you do that, not within budget. Yes, and a good point. In the same way, okay, but obviously we've got the sense check. Yes, absolutely right. We've got sense checks here. We can see 27,000 is more than 24,000. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, glad you got the quote. Good. We're all on form tonight, aren't we? Good. Right. So next up, okay, insert a new comment box into row 14, column D, saying prepared by the travel team's supervisor, right? So I'm just going to be lazy / quick, stating prepared by the supervisor, okay? So go into this. Oh, it's exam, my friends. There you go. Right. If only, right? If only. Okay. So in this, right, I've already got it. I used to use it and do use it a lot. So add a comment. If not, you go to the review tab. Okay. You're reviewing someone's work. You want to add comments to it. Okay. So you just tap that. Prepared by travel team supervisor. Right. The new Excel, you just have to post it. Okay. So prepared by travel team supervisor. We happy with that? Or anyone not happy with that? Never seen a single episode of Friends. Oh, absolutely terrible. You cannot not see it. Friends, iconic. I watch it every week. Right? I always restart it and then go again. Change the page orientation to change page orientation to landscape. Okay, so page layout, formulas. No, I can't see it. Can't see it. Oh, there it is. Right. Now, in the good old new Excel, yes, you can search it, but change it to landscape. Okay, so change it to landscape. I can see it's there, right? I don't need to see a change on the screen. I can just see here it's landscape. So again, lovely tick. Insert a footer, not a header, right? Not a header. With the title, Travel Budget 2022, approved by Travel Supervisor. Okay, so insert a footer, right? And then, okay, so I want to insert a footer. Okay, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can go into your page layout and go into your kind of print setup, right? And then you can add it there. The way I normally do it, okay, is, there it goes. Do you select before changing to landscape? Not this exam in new Excel. I don't know the exact version. Okay, actually, maybe just have a search in case anyone knows. Put it in the chat. But I'm not sure exactly what version it is. It's not going to be Windows 97 or anything like that. Okay, I don't expect it will be the latest version. Okay, because that means I have to keep up with the software. But I assume it'll be just one back. That's my assumption. Okay, it's not confirmed. Do we need to select before changing landscape? I'm not sure what you mean there, Uche. Not sure what you mean. But I'll answer as you go. So view tab, page layout. Okay, view tab, page layout. Okay, remember footer, not a header. Okay, so if you ever see this wacky format, okay, you've also got, you can change them at the bottom. So all I'm doing is copying here, right? My nice little footer. Okay. Oh, there you go. Thanks for answering. So we've got our view tab, we've got our page layout, it's sticking. Just go back to normal. Okay. Just go back to the normal view and it'll give you that back. Do you select everything? Oh, no. No, just landscape. That's fine. Just change it to landscape. That's all they said, the worksheet. So yeah, you don't have to select everything. It just changes it anyway. So in a worksheet, in worksheet task 1, okay, unhide all columns to show the hidden formula, the hidden column with names of the team members who are traveling. Okay, now I find it unlikely the examiner is going to put it all the way over here. Okay, so I'm looking at what I can see, right? And I can see which symbol tells you have the landscape. Well, in terms of it may show you under display settings, but more so if you go to your page layout, you can see here. And when you go to print layout as well, it also shows you that. Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone can see the little dots here, okay. Now you can see we can all sing the alphabet as we go. I'm absolutely not going to sing it. But you see GHIJKL, right? So we're missing that. So what I'm going to do is unhide. Okay, so I'm going to unhide that. Even if you say please, I'm still not singing it. So team members here under K, right? So I've just checked, double check, unhide all columns to show the hidden column with the names of the team members. Okay, so I can see that there, hidden under that. Exactly, right? Anything to help your exam feel like a lovely experience. Sing the alphabet in your head, right? I'm not sure I would do it out loud. Perform a spell check. Check for any errors in the countries listed, right? In task 1, highlight in red. Okay, highlight in red. Now, just be careful. This one, it was a random, okay, it was a random list, right? This is why I said when you do a spell check, do it on the country names, okay? Do it on the country names. So you go spell check, you've got lots in here, right? So you can look at this, right? And I can already see one just from looking at it. And there you go, spell check, Malaysia, okay, Malaysia, right? I'm not sure about the local, how they spell it locally, but Malaysia, you can see here. So if I just ignore that, you're good to go, right? So if I ignore it, it means that I'm just gonna highlight the text, not the box, okay? So I'm not putting it in red, I'm highlighting the text. I'm not changing it, I'm just highlighting it, okay? So we all are all happy with that. We were told to look at the country names, okay? Because if you go here, it goes a bit wild, right? Thinks about all those different names, like it thinks that's honor, right? American spelling, I think of honor. Random name generator, right? So I perform a print screen of the budget and paste this into the worksheet 1 dot, okay? So print screen, we've got it on our keyboard, okay? We've got PRTSCRN or something of that sort. Also, I mean, yes, it was around there. Also, I mean, has the same effect, okay? Could have just, it says print screen the budget. I can just do that with the good old snipping tool, okay? And in case anyone has a snipping tool, it's beautiful. So I know a few of you do, but here it makes this life so much easier. There is an advanced snipping tool, but you know, we're all right. We can use this. Love the snip. Yeah, absolutely love the snipping tool. Good. Okay, protect the worksheet, task 1 with password travel, right? Who knows how to do a final 30 seconds password protecting? Okay, remember, I'm password protecting task 1's worksheet. Review tab, okay. Review tab, okay, absolutely. Take the worksheet with password travel, okay. Just be a little bit careful. We came across this issue recently. Remember what your passwords are, okay, if you're going to password protect the spreadsheet. So absolutely. Text cell with no password. Oh, exactly. Right. So password protect, and you can decide what it means, right? Travel. I've copied that in, but in case you're worried, right? If you password protect it and you spell it wrong, the examiner's not going to be able to potentially do anything with it, right? So it hasn't said what you need to do. Okay, it's just telling us protecting the worksheet, not workbook. The workbook would be the whole of the Excel document. So ta-da. No, it's all right. How to protect cell with no work password. No, it's fine. It's all good. Right, that's it. Okay, that's all your tasks, right? No more fun for tonight. No more fun for tonight. Everyone go and watch some Friends. Exactly. Couldn't unprotect it. I mean, they might have a process for that. Anyway, I'm just going to close the recording for tonight. But anyway, as always, thanks for listening and have a good week.